What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasize Football. Welcome back. We're here today with another video, and we got our first of many mock drafts to come on the channel. I hope you guys like the last couple videos we put out. Like I had said before, we're going to be cranking out more content. But today, like I said, we're going to do a mock draft. It's going to be a 12-team, half PPR mock draft. More of a full PPR guy personally, but I know a lot of people play half PPR. So I figured I'd do that to please the people. And since it is the first mock draft on the channel, we're going to be drafting first overall. Here we are. It's your boy. We got our boy in the background now. Yeah, a little nice aesthetic there. My man Joe said that it needed to go there. So he's here, and he's here to stay. But yeah, man, without further ado, let's get into it. We're using the Fantasy Pros Mock Draft Simulator. Very cool tool to use, man. I know it's a little early to be doing mock drafts. I can't help myself. I am sick, very sick in the head, deranged, cannot help myself. I eat, shit, breathe fantasy football. So, yes, they use a lot of experts' rankings and stuff, so every draft's kind of different. They're not sponsoring this video, but if you want to sponsor this video, Fantasy Pros, hit me up. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Let's get into it. And we're picking first overall, like I had said. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer to go Christian McCaffrey with the first overall pick. I know he was hurt a lot last year, but he put up 30 points a game in the 3 games he did play. I mean, he's just a stud, man. You really can't really debate that. And we've seen what he can do in the past. I mean, if you want to go Dalvin Cook, you want to go Derrick Henry, Saquon, Devontae Adams, do it, man. I won't be mad at you for it. I won't fault you for it. But for me, it's Christian McCaffrey. So let's take a quick look at the draft board. I'll talk a little bit about my picks. Talk a little bit about what's going on here with these other picks. So after McCaffrey, we see Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Zeke, Devontae Adams, Cam Akers, Tyreek Hill, and Aaron Jones to round out the first round. Relatively standard. You might see Kelsey there sometimes, but for the most part, a lot of running backs early. It's a way to do it, man. You know me. I like to take my running backs early and often. But transitioning to the second round, we got Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins. Then Travis Kelsey goes off the board. Austin Eckler, Calvin Ridley, Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, Michael Thomas, and Keenan Allen. Again, pretty standard. We see a lot of big name receivers, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Hopkins, Metcalf, Michael Thomas come off the board here. So let's go back over to our cheat sheet. And here I am going to be looking at a running back and a wide receiver probably. I mean, we got 2 picks in a row. So on that second pick, you could be looking at a tight end. For me, in a 10-team league, I would probably lean a little more towards going tight end because of the positional advantage. But in this format, 12 teams, double flex, whether it be double flex or 3 wide receiver, the running backs, the wide receivers are a little more important. So that positional advantage, I'd rather wait a little bit and get one of them middle round tight ends and hope for a big boom season. And then quarterback, not for me, not 10-team league, not no sir, Bobbery is not happening. I wait on quarterback a little bit longer at least. But yeah, man, so I'm probably going to be going with a running back and a wide receiver here. So let's look at the running backs. For me, I see DeAndre Swift, Miles Sanders, Dobbins, Clyde, Najee, Montgomery, Chris Carson. I'm looking at here, it's half PPR, either Swift or Dobbins, or Swift, Dobbins, or Sanders. Sanders, they drafted Kenneth Gainwell, and then they just claimed Kerryon Johnson. I don't think that really matters. Boston Scott's still there. But there's a lot of question marks around this offense and whatnot, what Sanders' role will be. Dobbins isn't involved as much in the pass game. And DeAndre Swift, catches count, half PPR. I love DeAndre Swift, huge DeAndre Swift stan. That's my boy. I see him being involved in every facet of the game, in the passing game, heavily involved. We saw that last year. He can score touchdowns. It's going to be involved in the run game, obviously. I mean, Jamal Williams is there, but no Kerryon, no AP. I see that probably being somewhere in a 60-40, 65-35 split, more so in DeAndre Swift's favor, with a lot of work in the passing game. So the ceiling's the moon. They bulked up the offensive line a bit. Obviously, the team's probably not going to be great, but hey, man, I'm willing to go DeAndre Swift there. That's my boy. So listen, after that, we look over at wide receiver. We got Justin Jefferson, Allen Robinson, McLaurin, Julio. That's where, and then, that's where I would probably, and then, I'd probably tier break right around there. And then they have Mike Evans, Godwin, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods. I do love Robert Woods, do love Amari Cooper. Evans and Godwin, I'm kind of avoiding this early because Brady likes to spread the ball around, and I'd rather just take Antonio Brown a lot later on. Maybe we'll get into that a little more if he's there for us. But yeah, man, so I'm looking here, and for me, it's between Justin Jefferson and Allen Robinson. I love Allen Robinson so much. I really do, man. But again, question marks, new quarterbacks. Who's it going to be? Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. Is Justin Fields going to be good? Is Andy Dalton going to be good? Probably not, but Andy Dalton might be the best quarterback he's ever played with. Justin Fields should be, but Justin Jefferson is just more of a sure thing. It's relatively safe, and on top of that, the ceiling, the upside is the moon. If he can improve on what he did last year, even just a little bit, we saw what he did in his rookie year. So Justin Jefferson's my pick there. Let's go over to the draft board and see what we're looking at. All right, so after I go Justin Jefferson, we see Mahomes, Josh Allen. Usually Josh Allen will be like a round and a half after Mahomes, but that's fine. Najee at the 304. I do expect Najee to probably shoot up into that second round come draft time, but this is where I think he should go. I'm comfortable with him here, especially in half PPR. In full PPR, he might stay here, and that's fine with me. Half PPR, I mean, you see like Clyde and Miles Sanders and Dobbins going after him. I would probably take all those guys in front of him, but he should be in for a big workload. It's just kind of the question marks there. And early on in the draft, I'm trying to go a little safer and go for upside, more upside, more risk a little later. So then after Najee, we see Clyde, Kittle, Sanders, Allen Robinson, J.K. Dobbins, Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, and James Robinson. And I think that's just somebody has an updated rank. It's not too big of a deal, but Robinson, obviously with ETN there, is probably going to be going more in that 6th to 8th round range. We'll see exactly where it lines up. I do think he's going to have a role still and be a factor in this offense, but definitely not a 3rd round pick. But then we see Mark Andrews at the 401. A little early for me for Andrews. I expect Andrews to probably go more a little later here. I like Hawkinson more personally, but if I can get Hawkinson or Mark Andrews at a round and a half value, 2-round value over Kittle and Waller, I like that in half PPR. But I also like looking at Pitts maybe around after those guys. So we'll see what we do here coming up. So after Mark Andrews, we got Mike Evans, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I'm getting all these spam calls today, way more than normal. It's crazy. So Mike Evans, Chris Carson, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, Adam Thielen. Again, pretty standard. And now we're going to see a lot of these running backs kind of dry up. We saw, David Montgomery go. Josh Jacobs, I'm not really in on. Chris Carson's a guy I really like. But yeah, now I'm looking over at running back. And we got Kareem Hunt, Myles Gaskin, Melvin Gordon, ETN, Edmonds, Raheem Mostert. I like Mike Davis more than everyone that's not named Myles Gaskin here. But we'll see what happens there. They could still add somebody. They did sign undrafted free agent Javian Hawkins, but other than that, it's Quadri Allison and Cordarrelle Patterson. So I see Mike Davis handling the lion's share of the workload there. But for me, Miami Dolphins, I'm wearing a sweatshirt kind of color like the Dolphins. Fins up to the moon. Little homer pick here. But I like Myles Gaskin the best here. Think he should be pretty close to a workhorse, if not the workhorse we saw last year when he was healthy. He did handle the lion's share of the workload for the Miami Dolphins, and I expect it to be relatively the same this year. They did add Malcolm Brown. They have Salvon Ahmed, but Myles Gaskin is my boy. So now we got a little decision to make. Kyler and Lamar are still there, but I'm, again, not going to be taking a quarterback just yet. So now it's between, do we go tight end or do we go with our wide receiver too? So we got Hawkinson, who, like I said, I really like, and getting him in the 5th round is a great value. I do like him a little better in full PPR just because I expect him to be a big volume guy this year. But the question is, do I want to wait on tight end and hope that Pitts falls to us, or if Pitts doesn't, that Goddard falls in the next round after, or do I want to go with our wide receiver too? And I'm looking at the wide receivers. We got CeeDee Lamb, Galladay, Deontay, Cup, Ayuk, Lockett, Odell. That's a no-no for me. No, sir, Bob Ree. I'm not feeling Odell this year. I just don't think there's enough volume. There's a lot of mouths to be fed. T. Higgins, Claypool, Sutton, guys I like. But for me here, I like Hawkinson a lot, but I'm willing to risk it and see if Pitts falls to us. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb, who would be my highest ranked wide receiver here. This offense should be great. There should be a lot of upside here. So I can see CeeDee Lamb kind of improving on last year, obviously with Dak back. Should be the number 2 option in a high-octane, high-scoring offense. Love CeeDee Lamb. That will be our pick. So we'll go back to the draft board. And we got, after I go CeeDee Lamb, Melvin Gordon, Chase Edmonds, Brandon Ayuk, Kenny Golladay, Deontay Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Kareem Hunt, Travis Etienne, Cortland Sutton, Mike Davis, and then Lamar Jackson to round out the 5th round. Pretty standard. Usually it's Kyler Murray there instead of Lamar, but you can flip-flop those guys. A lot of wide receivers go. Some of those next tier running backs. And then after that, start off round 6, T. Higgins, Ronald Jones, Noah Fant, Kyler Murray, Odell, Logan Thomas, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, Jamar Chase, Chase Claypool, and Juju. Now, this is odd. Usually Hawkinson would go before Font and Logan Thomas, like pretty much every time. And this would be kind of where I'd be looking at Pitts. But in this case, in this draft here, could happen in your draft too. Maybe someone's big on Noah Fant, big on Logan Thomas, which, I mean, Font, I guess you could make a case for. Logan Thomas, not so much with Curtis Samuel and now Diami Brown there as well. But, I mean, for me now, I'm looking at this. This is a no-brainer. I'm going with TJ Hawkinson, baby, at the 6-12. I already kind of talked about that. But, yeah, now we got our let's make our next pick, and then we'll talk about our overall team. So we got two really strong running backs and Myles Gaskin, who I think should be very good. 2 second-year wide receivers that I really like, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, who are both relatively safe with a lot of upside. And then at running back, who is available? Mike Davis is gone. Raheem Mostert, David Johnson, Damian Harris, Fournette. Not really feeling any of these wide receivers. I mean, these running backs here. We can look at quarterback quickly. We got Dak, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. I'm going to wait a little bit because I'm okay with Hurts, and if I don't get Hurts, I'm okay with Stafford too. Again, we could get that Dak, CeeDee Lamb connection there, but we still do have one other flex spot to fill, and there's one guy I see that I really like, and that is Robbie Anderson of the Carolina Panthers. Last year, 92 catches, almost 1,000 yards, only 2 touchdowns. Never been a huge touchdown guy in his career, but 2 touchdowns is also an outlier. I expect him to be somewhere in that probably 5 to 7 range. If all things go right for him, maybe 8 touchdowns this year if Darnold gets on the right track. And again, Darnold and Robbie Anderson have a connection from their New York Jets days. So will he gravitate towards Robbie Anderson a little bit more than even Teddy Bridgewater did? Who knows? I mean, I'm expecting another great year from Robbie Anderson and some regression to the mean in the touchdown department. Should see enough volume to be relevant on a week-to-week basis. Relatively safe pick. Good upside. We're going to go with Robbie Anderson as our second flex. So now we got Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift at running back, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver, TJ Hawkinson at tight end, Myles Gaskin, and Robbie Anderson as our flexes. So I'm loving this team, man. This is A1 for me. This is perfect. So let's go over, check out the draft board. After I went Robbie Anderson, we see Raheem Mostert, DJ Chark, Deshaun Watson, Pitts goes 705, Tyler Boyd, Will Fuller, Debo, Dallas Goedert, James Conner, Devonta Smith, and David Johnson to round this out. Now, I'm happy that TJ Hawkinson fell to me, obviously, but if TJ Hawkinson doesn't fall here, which I don't expect him too often, we would have gone Pitts there and then gone Robbie Anderson. So I wouldn't even really be mad at that if that was the case. But yeah, we see Pitts and Goddard both go off the board. This is around where I would be taking them. Honestly, it would probably be Pitts there and then Goddard somewhere around here and then maybe Logan Thomas there. But whatever, that's fine. And then we see a little run on wide receiver. The running backs are starting to dry up a bit. We see, Raheem Mostert, who I just don't expect to be in a heavy workload here. It's going to be a split backfield. I do see something already we'll touch on. But over the past few years, nobody's handled over like 50% of the workload for the 49ers. And now they drafted Trey Sermon. Jeff Wilson's there. Coleman's gone, but Coleman was relatively irrelevant anyways. But yeah, let's just move on here. Jarvis Landry to start the 8th round. Dak, big run on quarterback. Dak, Herbert, Damian Harris, Russell Wilson, Devontae Parker, Aaron Rodgers, Curtis Samuel, Trey Sermon, Jerry Jeudy, Leonard Fournette go off the board. So yeah, there it is. Trey Sermon there, right? So I could see they invested 3rd-round draft capital in Trey Sermon, the 49ers, that is. And to me, it's just a backfield that I'm kind of avoiding. If anyone I would want Trey Sermon, this seems a little early for him. A lot of time I see him going in the 10th round, 9th, 10th, 11th round. There I'm a little more comfortable. In the 8th round, it's a little early. But yeah, running backs all dried up, man. You go over here, you look at our cheat sheet. We look over at running back, and we got Kenyon Drake, Zach Moss, Javonte, A.J. Dillon, Devin Singletary, Tony Pollard, and Nyheim Hines. Now, I do want to get a running back 4 and one of these 2 picks. And to me, I'm looking at my team. I'm looking at who's available. There's 2 guys I would think about here, and it's Kenyon Drake and Javonte Williams. Now, Kenyon Drake would need an injury to Josh Jacobs more than likely in order to take over as the workhorse. He should be involved in the passing game, should have a share in the rush game as well. I expect it to be somewhere around a 60-40 split, maybe 55-45 even in Josh Jacobs' favor if all goes right for Drake. But when I look at Javonte Williams, he doesn't necessarily need an injury to Melvin Gordon. They traded up to get him. I think he'll be involved from day one. It might take a little bit, but if you hold on to him, and in a situation where I got Swift, McCaffrey, Myles Gaskin, and then I got 3 receivers that I'm comfortable with, I'm okay with having to take Javonte Williams here and not having to start him for the first few weeks. So I'm going to go with Javonte Williams and the upside there if he takes over and ends up being the lead back for the Denver Broncos. Now, after that, we have a little bit of a decision to make. Do we go with a quarterback? Do we go with Jalen Hurts here, or do we wait it out? Or do we go with another wide receiver? I'm probably going to be off running back for the next 3 to 4 rounds, give or take, unless somebody falls to us. Because I have my 4 guys. I only need to start 2. I got of 3 receivers that I'm comfortable with, and then there's a lot of great value at wide receiver. So I think I'm gonna wait on quarterback, hope that Jalen Hurts falls to us, and I'm going to go with wide receiver from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I talked about a little earlier, Antonio Brown. The other guys I would be considering here are Michael Pittman from the Indianapolis Colts, who could be the number 1 there, and Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. Again, another homer pick. But I do think he has tremendous upside to be one of the top options on this team. Tua does like to throw short. I did talk about this a little bit before. So if you haven't watched the draft videos that I've made, please check those out if you want to hear a little more about Jalen Waddle. But I'm going to go with Antonio Brown here. Again, a lot of upside here. Last season, he was on pace for 90 catches, just under 1,000 yards, 7 or 8 touchdowns. So if Antonio Brown can kind of do the same thing through a whole 17 games this year, he's got a very high ceiling, man. And there are going to be weeks where he goes, 3 for 35 or something like that. But I don't have to start him every week. So in choice matchups, bye weeks, I'm more than okay with slotting Antonio Brown into one of my flex spots. So back to the draft board. After I go Antonio Brown, we see Marquise. I don't know what I just did there. We see Marquise Hollywood Brown, Laviska Shenault, Michael Pittman, Joe Burrow, A.J. Dillon, Corey Davis, Zach Moss, Kenyon Drake, Rashad Penny, Michael Carter goes off the board, unfortunately. Michael Gallup, Devin Singletary. Michael Gallup ends round 9. Relatively standard. Running back is really dried up now. Really dried up. Kenyon Drake is a great value in the 9th round. Michael Carter as well, I think, is a decent value. He should be involved from day one. But then, starting off round 10, we have Devin Singletary, Tevin Coleman, Mike Williams, Nyheim Hines, Latavius Murray, Jamison Crowder, who could be a cap casualty, Tony Pollard, Phillip Lindsay, Jalen Waddle. Damn it. I was hoping it fell back to me. Cole Beasley, and Marvin Jones. And now we're back on the clock in the 10th round, and it looks like our boy Jalen Hurts fell to us. So right away, I'm just going to lock in Jalen Hurts. A lot of upside here. Konami code quarterback, runs the ball, value pick. Yeah, baby. Yeah, nice. I don't care. But this is around where I would expect Jalen Hurts to go. There is obviously a lot of risk with Jalen Hurts, how he develops as a passer. I don't believe them that they're saying that there's a competition at quarterback because it's him and Joe Flacco. They didn't draft a quarterback. So Jalen Hurts, the rushing upside, huge if he can develop as a passer. They did add Devontae Smith in the draft. And yeah, if that's the case, man, there is a lot of upside there. So let's go ahead and look. I see at running back, Gus Edwards, Tariq Cohen, Jamal Williams. Do like Jamal Williams, but I don't like him so much as I like him as a handcuff, obviously, but I don't want to grab a handcuff here. I do think Jamal Williams has week-to-week flex upside, maybe in a little deeper league. I mean, he's not going to be a big, contributor on this team, but I do see him, being involved in the passing game and in the running game. Swift will probably get some snaps in the slot. So in that case, maybe you put Jamal Williams out there still. I do see him slightly involved in the running game, but it's a little I have 4 running backs. I feel confident with my running backs. I'm going to look at another wide receiver here, and we got T.Y. Hilton, Jalen Reagor. T.Y. Hilton is a no-no for me. Jalen Reagor, Darnell Mooney, John Brown, Sterling Shepard, and then a tier break and a bunch of other guys. So listen, man. For me, when I'm looking here, it's Darnell Mooney's a guy that I really like. A lot of upside there. Last season had a good rookie year. I expect him to build upon that, probably be the number 2. But again, this offense is a little suspect. But there is a guy, C, that I really like, and I don't know if he's going to make it back to me, so I think I'm going to pull the trigger here. What round are we in? The 11th round. No, it's not too early. I'm doing it. I'm taking Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Baltimore Ravens. Now, I know that I mentioned in my landing spots video that I wasn't huge on the Baltimore Ravens landing spot, and that is true. That stands true. But I do expect Rashad Bateman to be the alpha in this offense. Mark Andrews will probably be the number 1 option target share-wise, but as for wide receivers, I see him slotting in as the number 1. They invested first-round capital in him, and Marquise Brown probably playing in a more complementary role. So I do also expect the Ravens to throw the ball a bit more, and if that's the case, Rashad Bateman does have a high ceiling, so that's why we made that pick there. So let's go back, look at the draft board. Just scroll down a little bit, make some room. All right, so after I go Rashad Bateman, we see Gus Edwards, Allen Lazard, Gabe Davis, another guy I love that I hoped would have fallen back to me. So I see this. Gabe Davis goes, Darnell Mooney goes. Bateman probably wouldn't have made it back to me. Jamal Williams, Tariq Cohen, Darrell Henderson, T.Y. No Hilton, Kenneth Gainwell, Marlon Mack, J.D. McKissick. Running back is very dry now. Sterling Shepard, Javion Hawkins, who we mentioned earlier in the 12th round. Wow, that is the first time. This guy go like 0 RB in the 11th spot or something? Or did he just draft a bunch? He did. This guy went 0 RB. So his running backs are Mike Davis, Ronald Jones, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Marlon Mack, and Javion Hawkins. God bless you, sir. This is why I don't go 0 RB. Relying on Mike Davis and Ronald Jones on a week-to-week basis gives me anxiety. So yeah, Javion Hawkins, undrafted free agent. He's handcuffing a lot of his guys, actually, now that I'm seeing that. Yeah, he is, huh? That's cool, I guess. Whatever. Probably going to draft Gio Bernard down the line. But yeah, man, man, I can't get over this guy's team. Javion Hawkins, I don't expect to take over for Mike Davis. I mean, his only other competition for touches, though, is Quadre Allison. So I could see him moving into having some sort of a role in this offense. If anything, I would probably take him as a last-round pick if you really want to. But yeah, anyways, Emmanuel Sanders, Alexander Madison, Jalen Reagor, Tom Brady, Christian Kirk, Ryan Tannehill, and then a run-on tight end with Tunyon, Gronk, and Irv Smith. Irv Smith is one of the late-round tight ends I really like. But yeah, let's move back over to the Chiefs sheet, starting off the 12th round with 2 straight picks. All right, so there is a running back that I want to take, and I don't know if I want to do it now or if I want to wait. Because if I wait, what am I going to be left with? I have an insurance policy. I have 4 running backs. I do want to have a 5th running back. I like to take 5 running backs, especially taking a shot late because you kind of know what you have and you can kind of drop them after week 1 if nothing happens. So let's look at wide receiver. We have John Brown sitting up here. Man, this guy, he won't leave me alone. He's always there for me, like, at this point in the draft. It's crazy. Aguilar, Ruggs, Hardman, Slayton, Mims, Paris Campbell, Bashad Perryman, Elijah Moore, Josh Reynolds, blah. A lot of rookies below that. For me here, man, I'm taking John Brown, dude. I mean, whatever, dude. Playing for the Raiders now. We've seen flashes throughout his career. Last year he was injured a lot. The year before that, over 1,000 yards with Buffalo. Probably slotting into to either the number 1 or number 2 receiver role on the team. Obviously, Waller's the first option. Ruggs, I don't expect him to go 0 to 100 where he's getting over 100 targets this year, where last year he was barely involved, honestly. But yeah, I think John Brown probably comes in, plays that number 1 receiver role, has upside to again be a 1,000-yard receiver if that's the case. I mean, we saw last year 49 receptions for Aguilar, if I'm correct. He's right here. Let's check. I think it was 49 for like 900 or 800. 48 for 900. Yeah, I mean, is John Brown as big of a play guy as Aguilar was last year? I don't know, but still, if he can get 100, 120 targets, 70 catches, 60, 70 catches, 900 yards, some touchdowns, he's a guy that we can slot in and has upside for more. So after that, we have another decision to make. I do want to take a backup quarterback at some point just to be safe with Jalen Hurts. And who do I want to go with? I don't want to take Stafford right now because there is still wide receivers I like that I don't know if they'll make it back to me. Bear with me, baby boy. All right, listen, what round are we in? We are in the 13th round, so we got 2 picks left after this. I think 2 of my guys will be there. I want to back a quarterback, at least one of them. All right, you know what? I'm going to take my my shot at running back now. I'm just going to do it. Where is he? He's around here. LaMichael Pirine, New York Jets running back. I see Michael Carter probably being the third down back, playing on a lot of passing downs, but that role for the early down back is open. It's between Tevin Coleman and LaMichael Pirine. Tevin Coleman stinks. They did invest similar draft capital in Michael Pirine last year that they did in Michael Carter this year. It is a new coaching staff, but it's one of those guys that you draft knowing that if after week 1 he has 3 carries and no targets, or then you drop him, or if he has 13 carries and 3 targets, maybe you want to hold on to him for a little bit. So I like that from LaMichael Pirine there. I think that's good value. Let's go look at the draft board. So after I go with Pirine, we see James White, Darrell Williams, Jeff Wilson, Salvon Ahmed, Benny Snell, Le'Veon Bell, Carlos Hyde. Huge run on running backs there. Mike Gesicki, Chuba Hubbard goes off the board. Okay, good thing I took LaMichael Pirine here because he was my backup option if LaMichael Pirine wasn't available at my next pick. Matt Stafford, Mark Ingram, Matt Ryan, Gio Bernard, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, Taysom Hill. Oh my God, who expected this run on backup quarterbacks? I was going to take a backup quarterback. Sheesh. Todd Gurley, not even on a team. Neither is Le'Veon Bell. Darrington Evans, Sony Michel, Hunter Henry. Definitely don't like any of these running backs. And then Hunter Henry going here in the 14th round. Actually not much upside now that I'm thinking about it. All right, yeah, so let's look at our sheet. Let's wrap this up. We got 2 picks left. So I'm going to take a wide receiver here, and I am going to take a shot. We got Robbie Anderson. We've got Aguilar, Ruggs. No. All right, so a lot of the time I like to go like Terrace Marshall or Bashad Perryman, but we have Hawkinson and Robbie Anderson from Detroit and Carolina, respectively. So I'm not really trying to hedge bets here with this and wait and see what happens. I just want to take another upside player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Josh Reynolds of the Tennessee Titans. Could be the number 2 receiving option on his team. Obviously, Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith are both gone from the team. So that opens up the spot for the number 2 option in the passing game. A.J. Brown obviously won. Derrick Henry isn't very involved in the passing game. Josh Reynolds, they signed in free agency, who did show some flashes with the Rams. So I decided to go with Josh Reynolds. I mean, they did draft Des Fitzpatrick, but other than that, there's not too much competition for targets. Could have a nice target share. Could be very heavily involved in the offense. So I like Josh Reynolds there. Now, let me look at quarterback and see if it's even worth draft. Oh, baby! Yeah! I like this. First mock draft of the season. We're going to end it off with Trevor Lawrence, baby. We're going to take a shot on Trevor. Look at that picture. He is gorgeous. Look at that hair. I love it. We're going to take Trevor Lawrence to be our backup quarterback, baby, in our last pick of the draft. So we got a B from Fantasy Pros. Thanks, boys. Really appreciate the good grade. But yeah, I don't really care. But let's quickly, before we recap the roster, let's look at what happened in this last round. We got, after Trevor Lawrence, Aguilar, Damian Williams, Higbee, Engram, Slayton, Hardman, Ruggs, AJ Green, Hooper, Mims, and Campbell. Wow. Austin Hooper, great value in the last round. I think Austin Hooper, while he's not going to be a world beater, could be a solid week-to-week starter at tight end. And pairing him up with Noah Fant, not a bad play there. I like Austin Hooper late. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the team before we wrap this up. So I don't think I can actually look at my roster outside of this view, unfortunately. But okay, so we went Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift in our first two picks. So those are our two starting running backs. Justin Jefferson, our wide receiver 1. Myles Gaskin, our first flex. CeeDee Lamb, our wide receiver 2. Hawkinson, our tight end. Robbie Anderson as our second flex. Jalen Hurts at quarterback down here. And then we had for our bench, Javonte Williams, Antonio Brown, Rashad Bateman, John Brown, LaMichael Pirine, Josh Reynolds, and Trevor Lawrence. So we got a lot of upside on the bench. A lot of guys, with Javonte Williams and Rashad Bateman and Josh Reynolds, Trevor Lawrence, even Antonio Brown, a lot of upside. And then guys that I feel confident slotting in the case of an injury or an injury or just a bye week in Antonio Brown and John Brown, LaMichael Pirine. Obviously, if he can take over that early down role and Michael Carter doesn't work out, maybe he handles the majority of the workload. So there is some upside there as well. But I like this team, man. I look at it. We're strong at running back. We're strong at wide receiver. We're strong at tight end. Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence. I like that pair at quarterback. One of them should work out. So week to week, we can kind of play our matchups if we have to. And then we got a good high upside bench to see how things develop. And then obviously you grind it out on free agency, on waivers throughout the year. So that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed the video. What would you have done differently? What picks did you like? What picks didn't you like? If there's anything you guys noticed that you would have done different, let me know down in the comments. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you like the video, give it a like. Share with all your friends, your family, your teachers, your dog, your grandmother, everyone. Subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. It's free. And with that being said, thank you all for coming in and hanging out with me for a little bit. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Love you. Peace.